Let me ask you all a question. How many of you think that the Earth revolves around the sun? Okay. Now, if you lived 500 years ago, you would have actually thought the opposite. You would have actually thought that the sun revolved around the Earth. But because of the audacity of a few brave scientists who had the gall to go against current thinking, we now understand that the Earth really does revolve around the sun. And it completely changed, that idea completely changed humanity and how we think about the universe. We were not actually the center of the universe. And so, let me ask you another question. How many of you think we're alone in the universe? Okay, not many hands up. Very good. Now, before we get into that question, let me introduce myself. I'm Jim Crowell, and I'm a polar roboticist, like Jeff said. And that means I develop instruments and robots to explore the North and South Pole of our planet. So my life is around ice. I'm like the Iceman from X-Men. And so let's go down to Antarctica. And down in Antarctica, there's a lake. It's called Lake Whillans. Lake Whillans is a special lake, though, because it's a subglacial lake, which means it's below the ice in Antarctica. So we go down to Lake Whillans, and we have this little robot that we created called MSLED. MSLED stands for Microsubmersible, which means small submarine, subglacial lake exploration device. And so we take this MSLED and we go down into Lake Whillans. We drilled down half a mile through the ice into Lake Whillans, and we took these pictures and we saw this beautiful subglacial lake. And we took water samples down in Lake Whillans, and we found microbes thriving down in here. And the last time Lake Whillans was exposed to the surface was 10,000 years ago. That means this ecosphere down in Lake Whillans has been thriving for over 10,000 years, completely separate from the rest of Earth. So let me ask you one more question. How many of you know of a moon called Europa? So for those of you who didn't raise your hand, Europa is an ice moon orbiting Jupiter. And so on this moon, similar to Antarctica, below several miles of ice, there is also, similar to a subglacial lake, a liquid water ocean. And down in this ocean, we are trying to figure out, is there life down there? So NASA just funded a mission called Clipper. So Clipper is going to go to Europa and it's going to orbit. It's just an orbiter, but it's going to figure out if Europa can actually sustain life. And this could lead to another mission, let's call it MSLED 2, where we go send MSLED 2 to Europa, drill down through that ice, go and swim around in the ocean and figure out, is there life in there? And it'll get us closer to that audacious question, are we alone in the universe? And if we're not, how will that change us as a species? Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.